And as you kind of look forward, Laya and Buttonhead are kind of just like hanging out together, like very much just vibing with the waves with no problem whatsoever.
It's just like riding a horse.
Just gotta go with the flow.
No, he's in the boat behind you.
You cold?
No, I am going with the flow. I think I can't pass up the opportunity now. I'm gonna start, waking people up if they're not up on their own, and then I'm just gonna go squat over Orlo and just get like, and just wait till he wakes up.
So Orlo, you're laying there, and you kind of, you can always feel when somebody's staring at you, and when you're sleeping, you feel a little disturbed, and
yeah, I do.
Start to crack your eyes, and you just see Emmerin's face directly in yours.
And immediately being startled, I have Bonebreaker next to me, and I just crack him across the side of the head because he frightens me, and that's just my initial reaction to having someone that close to me as soon as I wake up. Today we're learning about personal space.
Today on Sesame Street.
All right, let's see if you hit me.
What do I need to roll?
Roll an attack with your hammer.
With your stick.
Oh my god. I suppose that would be the way to move.
Is there anything I can do about that?
21.
So. Yeah, that'll hit me. Roll the damage.
So just roll it with the one-handed damage, Zam, because you definitely would be doing it one-handed.
That bad.
Okay, so I'll take the long rest. And then I will subtract 7.
That's funny.
So you all are awake to see this as you hear Orlo kind of let out a small trumpet and just smack the shit out of Emmerin.
And I'll just be like, oh my god, and like run over and like be looking at Emmerin's face and like, are you all right?
He's gonna kind of wipe some of the blood off of his face and look at it for a second, look at Orlo, look at Laya, and just start howling laughing. Well, I suppose I deserved it, but all right, don't fuck with the elephant.
I'm just like, I am so sorry. I'm used to being on my own. If anything ever woke me up before, it was on. So I'm real sorry about that.
It's all right. It's all right. I'll get you back later. And then his like smile just leaves his face entirely.
Just like deadpan eyes wide.
I love it. Fantastic.
So you guys are all just kind of sitting there. You go ahead, you eat your breakfast, you clean up your camp, and you are all awake a little bit earlier than you even usually would be, just because Emmerin woke you. So you can definitely get a very early start this morning. Are you going to try to continue on down the river?
Just around the river bend.
Yeah, I think the river is good.
Makes good time.
It's worked out for us so far.
Yeah.
Do any of you want to check the river, or are you just going to push the boats out and keep going?
Before we start pushing in, I just kind of, as we're pushing in, I just shout out to the group, or as we're getting ready to push in, I shout out like, I last night, before I went to sleep, I was looking over the maps, and I just wanted to let you guys know it does look like there are some rough waters and some bridges we go under, so we'll probably want to be on the lookout for any sort of ambushes or maybe just make sure there's no rocks that are gonna jump out of the water or anything, or tip our boats or anything like that.
Well, maybe you can hit him with your stick.
Its name is Bonebreaker.
Yeah, I can tell.
It does have a reputation.
So, you guys get back in your boats, respectively. Are you just going to continue to use the same methods as you were before, Orlo, with your trunk? Flo, I believe you were the one that was rowing, correct?
Yes.
Cool. Then we'll go ahead. You guys start off. You notice that once you get away from the cart, the water is definitely moving a little bit quicker than it was yesterday. It seems to be a little bit higher, a little bit deeper, whichever way you would like to look at it in certain places, and it is definitely moving quicker. So you guys are making pretty good pace. Are you looking out for anything? Are you just kind of scanning the shores? Or are you just keep an eye on what's ahead of you? What's the plan for everybody?
Did we decide whose boat is traveling first, or?
I mean, I'm a speed demon, so
I just presumed we were using the same
I
way we
have the
did before.
power.
Yeah.
I have the
Then
power of motor. So yeah, me and Laya and Buttonhead in one boat, and then Emmerin and Flo in the other, I think is what it was.
I believe so, yes.
So I'll be keeping lookout for our boat.
Yeah, I'll be watching back because I have my trunk in the water, so I kind of like watch the back of it while Laya can watch the front, among other things, because I'm sure you'll notice things more than I will.
So go ahead and Laya, and then who? Because since Flo, I know you're rowing, but you really at this point don't have to do a whole lot of it. It's mostly just steering. Mm-hmm. But I figure Emmerin, you're also would be kind of the quote unquote lookout. So if the two of you want to give me some perception checks.
Fuck's sakes. Nat 1.
12.
Solid. Okay. So Laya, you are in front. So you definitely have to have the sharper eye here. You're kind of giving Orlo directions, making sure he steers in the right places, so you guys don't crash into anything. And for the most part, you do a pretty solid job. You hit a few shallow spots here and there, and then Emmerin, as you kind of see them in front of you, you are doing kind of the same directing, but it's a lot easier because if Laya fucks up, you can just kind of direct around it. But you make a pretty good pace. You spend pretty much most of the early morning into the afternoon, so about 4 or 5 hours you're on the water just cruising down. Orlo, I know that you can't look at your map at the moment, but you had a pretty good idea of some of the landmarks, and you guys come across the next bridge, which you knew was kind of... You should not have probably gotten to it as fast as you did, but you guys are cruising.
I just shout out to the boat behind us, and I'm just like, I kind of pull my trunk out to slow us down a little bit so we can like catch up to them, and or they can catch up to us rather. And I'm just like, the river seems to be flowing much faster than it was yesterday. So maybe these rough waters up ahead get a little bit more choppy, so we might want to slow things down a little bit here. Be a little bit more cautious.
So you guys go ahead. You go underneath this bridge. It's a little bit of a tight fit for you, Orlo, just being that you're so tall, but being that you're mostly bent over, it's not that big of a deal. You guys kind of just slowly creep underneath of it. And it definitely, like I said, you can definitely tell that the water level is raised because of how close you are to like the floor ceiling of it. But you make it through there, and then you just keep cruising on down the river. Buttonhead is thrilled to death. He's sitting at the front of the boat, just like staring out, and just kind of, you can see him like flipping back and forth pretty frequently.
He's helping me keep watch.
And as you make it to where you had just mentioned, Orlo, there are definitely some choppy waters ahead of you. Laya, you would definitely be the first to see them. You would relay it to Orlo. But do you guys want to make any special preparations to go through these? Or are you just going to kind of try to push through and see what happens?
Is it just the turbulence of the water itself, or is there any rock formations coming up?
Laya, go ahead. Give me a survival check as well, Laya. Since you're in the lead here.
5.
So you don't know a whole lot about water rafting. It looks like, for the most part, it's just pretty choppy water. You can see that it kind of bounces and flows from side to side in certain places, but it doesn't look like anything too serious.
Just like it didn't look like it was a trap.
I didn't say that.
Okay, I'll just relay that information to the group.
Gotcha. So that there's your answer to that there, Flo. Emmerin, also, if you would give me a survival check as well.
Man, these digital dice hate me. 8.
Hate everybody today, yeah.
Gotcha.
They're in timeout. I'm going to start using my actual dice.
You know what? I think I'm with you.
Same.
I got this cute little dice tower. Look at him.
Oh, that's sick.
He's a mimic. He's adorable.
That's fantastic.
What's his name?
I haven't named him. Oh my God, I haven't named him. What is wrong with me?
So as you get into this, Orlo, you guys feel the boat as it kind of starts shifting back and forth. Are you just going to keep facing backwards and steering, or are you going to try to also look at where you're going?
As long as the boat wouldn't tip over, I want to go towards the front, and I want to kind of use Bone Breaker in front of the boat to make sure we're not going to like hit any rocks or anything.
Okay. So go ahead and also give me a survival check then, please.
I will survive. 22.
Being that you have spent a lot more time in the woods, a lot more time probably near the water, you definitely know what rapids look like, and you know that these aren't the worst, but they're a lot more serious than may have been presumed by other people.
Other people?
I wonder who did that. Negligent.
So I just kind of shout out like, all right, everybody brace yourselves.
I'm going to pick up Buttonhead and hold him.
Okay.
I will batten the hatches.
I am...
Where are no hatches?
You said the water's moving pretty quickly. How imminent? Like, how soon are we going to hit these rapids?
So they're a little bit, the other set of you are a little bit ahead, and they just started into them, so you probably have, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds or so before you guys are in them.
Are we going to try to just plow through them? Are we going for it, or are we going to get out and go around them?
Fucking full send, bro. Let's go.
I guess
we made it this far. I have Bone Breaker. I'm going to feel for rocks. We'll be fine. Just follow us.
Famous last words.
Easy mode.
Oh, I don't love this.
I'm just gonna ask Emmerin.
How good are you at swimming?
Gonna look back at him, smile a little bit, and says, being large and metallic, I'd be more worried about you.
My name is Flo. I'll be fine.
How long did you have that tucked away? Just waiting for.
I took an improv class.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I know this one. Yes, your name is Flo, and
Good job. See you at improv class.
So Orlo and Laya, I need you to make dexterity saving throws for me, please.
Oh dear
So I
lord.
really want to quickly throw him, Emmerin, this hempen rope. And throw him some hempen rope. We're gonna, just in case we go in the water.
sure, we'll tie each other together. Sure.
Yeah.
15.
25.
Nice. So you guys feel the boat. It kind of drops and rocks, and it is not the smoothest ride that you have been on, especially thus far in the river. Orlo, you feel a little bit shaky. There's a couple of times where you kind of hit the side of the boat and you try to like balance yourself before you get thrown over. And as you kind of look forward, Laya and Buttonhead are kind of just like hanging out together, like very much just vibing with the waves with no problem whatsoever.
It's just like riding a horse.
Just gotta go with the flow.
No, he's in the boat behind you.
You called?
No, I am going with the flow.
And you see Flo and Emmerin, you see the two of them. You see Orlo kind of rocking back and forth a little bit, but you see that they're making it through these rapids for the most part pretty easily. You're still going to go ahead and push through them?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, then both of you please also make dex saving throw.
Be nice, dice.
23.
I think I got 13. No, 12.
Gotcha. So Flo and Emmerin, pretty much the same thing here. Flo, you get pretty close to rocking over the edge at a few points, but you can you push off with the oars that you're kind of using off of the base of the riverbed, and you kind of just stabilize yourself back up into the boat. But Emmerin, you're kind of you're vibing out. You're riding as, just like it's riding a horse.
So can we agree that steering in the rapids is a hard job? Yeah.
It's hard, yeah. And you guys, you make it through. You definitely can feel the boat as it's scraping against some of the rocks. You hear some cracking and some creaking from the both sets of you. But no water leakage, no leaks have been sprung, no major issues, and you kind of cruise out the other side, pretty much the same as you went in. Buttonhead fucking loved it though. He, as you guys kind of exit and it slows down a little bit, you see him kind of like just jump up and like kind of give a little clap. And Orlo and Laya, you both would hear again in your heads.
I love him so much.
And you guys are just going to keep pushing down river, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said as long as we don't see any leaks, then I'm good to keep going.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, you can definitely, like, if you look over the side of the boat, you can definitely see there are a couple places where you hit some rocks that left some pretty rough Mars in the side of in the wood of the boat, but nothing that is leaking or is imminent of danger.
Can I use mending on it while we're in the water?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, I'll do that.
So as you're sitting there and you're casting mending on the boat, Buttonhead is enthralled and he's kind of just sitting staring at you. And you can see that he understands what's going on. I mean, Myconids are unable to cast magic specifically, but he can feel what's going on, and you can see that he's paying attention. But you guys continue to push down the river, and as you're moving down, you see that for the most part, it's a lot of just tree line alongside the river like you had seen previously. But you do reach a couple places where what is left of a road kind of intersects, and it's actually more of a, like, you would have to probably pull the boat over it because looks like they built the water, or excuse me, built the road up out of the water. Not quite a dam because the water still flows over it, but you can tell that it sits and pools a little bit more at the base of it. So you would have to jump out real quick and just kind of pull the boat over top of it, but it wouldn't cause any issues. And this was also one of the ones that you had made note of on when you were looking over the map, Orlo. And as you're cruising through, you do notice that there are definitely changes in trees. You go a lot more from like big pine and fir trees, things like that, to a lot more actual leafed trees. And with that, you see that there are tons of colors in the trees. Not quite because it's fall, but just because of the different types of trees that are over here. And you still will see mostly of the same tree line as far as how far away it is, but it's definitely a change of environment. And as you guys keep going, it's probably getting to be about late afternoon at this point. Is there anything in particular that any of you wanted to do throughout the day?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm pretty happy with trying not to die on the rapids, or on the boat itself. Yeah.
The one thing that you actually all probably would also make note of is, Orlo, you can tell like where you are by one very notable landmark. Off in the distance, and it's quite a ways away, but off in the distance you can see the peak of a mountain kind of cresting up over all of the trees. It dwarfs everything, even these larger trees in terms of size, and especially with how far away it is. You know that it is massive. But you can definitely tell that you guys are making very good pace because of where you are and your ability to see this.
How far are we away from Barisa at this point then?
You would have to guess probably about half day, so probably another like 6 to 8 hours, depending on how fast the river is moving.
Did I notice any of those rough waters or bridges or anything between us and Barisa?
So after you crossed over this last bridge that you just crossed over, you're pretty much smooth sailing. There was one notable thing that seemed to be, it looked like more of things alongside of the river, not in the river.
Okay. Yeah, then I say we just keep floating along here, guys. I really I think this is the safest bet at this point. We've already passed the most difficult part and the most dangerous parts of this river. It's only about maybe a half day further down, and we'll be at Barisa.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
I see no issue.
Sorry. So are you going to try to push through the night while riding, or are you just going to kind of try to make camp at some point again and then make it early in the morning?
I don't see any reason to make camp at this point.
No.
So being from this world, is this an area that Emmerin would at all be familiar with? Like, is this area known for its giant wolves or water apes or something like that?
You aren't super familiar with Capengale, but you definitely are familiar enough to know that other than the overgrown creatures itself, Capengale, for the most part, is relatively safe comparatively to other places, mostly because all that you have to deal with or contend with is just the wildlife and much less the raiding parties and bands and things of that nature.
Did you say Kappa Gale?
No, I did not.
So it's Capengale, Cappingale kind of thing.
I think
No
it's
cap.
K. It's Kappen.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
Just trying to get my notes in order.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Capengale. So yeah, I'll communicate to them. It's like, well, there's not much around save for the wildlife. There's not much in the way of roving bands of militia or bandits, or as far as I know. We could push on through the night, but we might contend with something massive if we decide to go through the night, but we might see that during the day too.
What do you think, Buttonhead?
Just an excited squee.
I think he wants to keep going.
I can keep going.
Well, carry on then.
All right. So as you guys continue on down the river, it's starting to kind of slow down a little bit, but you're still maintaining a pretty good pace. But staying on the river, especially, you notice a lot more of the wildlife along the shores. You see things that you wouldn't notice just walking through the woods because they would hear you. So you're seeing some of the deer and smaller wildlife, rabbits, things like that. And every now and then you'll catch some of these creatures that are most certainly bigger than you would expect them to be, but largely the same creatures. So like the elk are even bigger than you would think they would be, standing at 8-9 feet tall, huge muscular creatures. They look threatening just because of their size, but they just seem to be acting as normal as you would expect.
The only thing you need to worry about around here are the omega squirrels.
Excuse me?
What?
Did you say something?
Oh, no.
And as you continue on, the sun is starting to set, and you see these beautiful colors kind of cresting over the horizon through the trees. And as it kind of is reflecting off the water, it's absolutely astounding. It's gorgeous. And you kind of almost get lost in the moment of what you're doing just because it's so quiet. It's so serene. There's nothing else going on out here. And as night's kind of starting to fall, you do hear something very out of the ordinary. You hear this creaking and shattering of these trees just kind of off in the distance. And you hear these very loud thumping footsteps.
It's gone.
They seem almost like they're small earthquakes with the size of the footsteps that these are.
Oh no.
You just had to mention Omega Squirrels.